Good evening, Melanin and Marketing family. It is so good to have you here. I am excited tonight that you guys have once again decided to join and that you have made it through another week, a week since we've talked. So once again, give yourself a round of applause. If you're still here, that means that you're still trying, and that's what matters. Today, we will be talking about the holiday season. Not that it's not talked about enough. It is an oversaturated time of the year, and there is a reason for that. And with that being said, I am going to share with you what I learned from working in retail marketing about the holiday seasons and what I do and how you can also leverage that for your business. With that said, we're going to wait until we're about 1 minute in, and then we will get started. This is your girl, Regina Patterson, marketing maven, and head founder and principal of RRP Marketing. I have a background of 15 years practical marketing experience working for big brands such as Fortune 500 companies, representing billion-dollar brands, and it is my goal to bring to you this knowledge that I've learned over these past 15 years to help you grow your business. It is super important to me that we have this knowledge that everyone doesn't get. It's your job to grind. It's my job to educate. So let's jump in. It is definitely the holiday season. And with that, we see tinsel, we see everything. We see meaningless purchases all over the place. We want to celebrate with families, celebrate with kids, buy our kids everything. And that means it is a purchasing season. So what I want to talk to you today about is how marketers use what I'm going to call natural purchasing seasons or natural seasons for buying. Jumping right in, if we were to think about the year has 4 quadrants: winter, spring, summer, and fall. One of the things about working as a marketer is that marketing generally takes a lot of creative effort. However, there's also this analytical or scientific effort that goes along with it. The scientific piece of it goes along with how does a person think, what pulls their triggers, and so on. And so today we're going to talk about those natural seasons that helps to pull those triggers. So for example, year-round, we know that we have people's birthdays. People's birthdays are something that you can market to, the special someone in your life, so on, at all times. And for example, one thing I want to point out is that you don't have to necessarily sell a product or even a service to take advantage of these elements. So I'm going to start with what is natural right now. Right now we're in what is the holiday season in the winter. Like I said, we're set up in 4 quadrants. So we have winter, we have spring, we have summer, and then we have fall. Winter has key holidays that every marketer can take advantage of to push products, to push services, or just to keep their brand at the front of someone's mind. So for example, the Christmas season is a season that you do that with, just saying, keeping your family in mind, celebrating with family, so on and so forth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to list the different holidays that come within each season, and then I'm going to tell you how to actually plan for those holidays. So the first thing is winter. What do you focus on in winter? You focus on winter weather. You focus on New Year's Day. You focus on New Year's Eve. You focus on Christmas. You focus on Martin Luther King's birthday. You can focus on holiday travel because people do travel, increase travel for the holidays. And you can also focus on Black History Month. So that's the winter. In the spring is a nice time to focus on graduation, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter. It's also a good time to start talking about getting your yard ready for outdoor living. So that's when you'll see a lot of things about patios, fertilizer, so on. Also, don't forget in the spring, it's end of winter, early spring is when we have St. Patrick's Day. We also have Memorial Day at the tail end of spring, and we have spring cleaning. Springtime is also spring break. It's definitely a time where people are looking to, they're looking to get away, you know? So you spent a lot of time indoors, and now you just kind of need a break. And spring break is that one place that people, you know, tend to travel with their families and so on. And don't forget that winter is a college spring break season also. So whether if you have insurance, you could, you know, sell some type of insurance. As far as I went on a trip before, and I forgot my debit card, to be honest. And so like that could be something that, you know, a person or a bank could target, like, hey, here's how to get money fast to your child if they forget something. Yes, Marcy, graduations is a big deal. Like I said, it's dads and grads. You know how people put those things together. So dads and grads, like I said, Mother's Day and Easter are big things also. In summer is a little bit lighter on the holidays, but it's very heavy on travel and just outdoor living in general. You know, coming in the Midwest, the weather is bearable. It's not too hot. People, you know, go hiking and so on. And that's a time when we really think about getting outside, going to the beach, your hair down. So if you're thinking about talking to someone in the summer season, it's about letting your hair down, celebrations, backyard barbecues. Backyard barbecues is a big deal during the summer seasons, and maybe even contests, for example. This is a good place that you can also use your analytics, and you can look at things, you know, and see if you have ebbs and flows that you can also focus on. I'll use my church as an example. One of the things that we knew going in is that I noticed an ebb or a drop for us in the summer seasons. And so in order to combat that, we created a full summer program, you know, for 9 weeks. The 9 weeks that we would normally see a drop, we would look to combat that. The other part is summer is Independence Day and summer is Labor Day. The other part with that is that for the people who are crafters, summer is a huge craft season. So do not forget to leverage that time where you can have outdoor crafting fairs and so on. And then finally, fall is kind of getting back into a routine, and that's where people focus on back to school, back to college. Once again, holiday travel as we start to get around Thanksgiving and Veterans Day. So that's just a list of the different seasons that happen, or different things that happen per season. I will also list these on my website and make sure that you guys have a good reference for those. Now, with that being said, right now, we could say, you know, it's too late to plan for the holiday season. Normally, I would advise any client, unless you had some type of flash sale that you definitely could fill, I would say, you know, don't try for the holiday season this year. And why is that? The reason why is because I would suggest planning for your next upcoming holiday season between 3 and 6 months in advance. There's a lot that you need to do to get ready for that holiday season. You need to figure out what products you're actually going to offer and provide. You need to, once again, figure out what the pricing and so on is going to be for that. If you want to do your marketing well, you're going to need some photography that goes along with it, maybe even some testimonials. And so that's the time that you start to prepare to get that content and that selling content ready. About 2 months in, 2 months before it happens, you want to go ahead and start pushing that product, pushing. Because once it's at the holiday time frame, you're about a little bit too late to actually, you know, to actually achieve what you need to achieve. So about 2 months out, because you want to give people time to become aware of what's being sold and then time to actually purchase it. There are things that there's a buying cycle, which I like to cover, you know, later, but, you know, things from awareness to consideration to trial to loyalty, to being an ambassador. And so there's ways that you move people along that journey. And when you're first introducing something, someone may be hesitant and they're in that introduction and consideration phase. If you give them a couple of weeks of actually getting it in front of their face and so on, they can go from introduction and consideration to actually trial and maybe making their first purchase for you. However, if you put that, if you just say, hey, here's this product and you want them to buy it immediately, there's a really good chance that they're not going to buy it immediately unless it's super, super inexpensive, because there's a higher barrier of entry. And when I say a barrier of entry or cost of entry, it's just how much of my dollars do I want to spend? Do I want to take this risk? And even if it's not high risk, sometimes it's just a risk to their bottom line and to their own budget and so on. One of the prime examples that I would say that you can learn, so one of the things that I can say you can learn from retail stores is, for example, you would notice that the stuff is normally regularly priced for, say, winter. It was regularly priced probably in around September, maybe October. And then what happens is, right the day after Christmas is the day they start marking all winter product down. That sounds really, really crazy, but that's right at the same time they switch their stores over to spring session. So that just gives you an idea of what that looks like for a lot of people. So Martinique asked the question, when I say push it out, do I mean by posting it on social media a lot? I would say social media is one of those channels that you want to post it on, but then you actually want to understand where your customer is, where they're looking to make a purchase and so on, where they're spending their time, because not every product is meant for social media. So for example, and I'm gonna have another live that talks about this also, but there are a lot of different social media platforms, and there's a lot of ways to advertise. So for example, when you think about a full marketing campaign, you think digital and you also think traditional. And say, for example, you work, I'm going to use my church as an example again. So you work with somebody who gets print a lot. So for example, I may distribute, I might start to distribute bulletins or a print magazine or, something like that in order to start getting it in people's faces. Social media is just one of those pieces of that, what we call the marketing mix. But, that's not the only place to actually publish something. And then when it does come to social media, it's about where's the right place for you actually to publish. So for example, I target businesses, and with that being said, there are times that LinkedIn is a better social channel for me than Facebook, and then Instagram. And it's about knowing how to use each of those channels in order to generate the business that works for you. Also, for example, if I know I have something coming up, I might actually use in-person networking, for sales. When I say post it or push it out a lot, it means being ready for those craft fairs like I was talking about. It's just about knowing when and where and what levers. And unfortunately, that's a little bit harder for me to go through on a big scale, but that's something I definitely do offer consulting for. What other questions may people have? Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys have ever, considered creating a marketing calendar, which is a little bit different than a content calendar. So there's content calendars, there's marketing calendars also. So a content calendar just talks about what we're gonna do, in social media at what time. On the other hand, a marketing calendar talks about what we're going to use where. So when I was working at the retailer, you would see my marketing strategy document would be huge, and it started off with what we called a deck, where we would talk about the objective. So like my objective that I have, how I would measure success, like how many dollars did I want to make, how many people did I actually want to see something. And then I will also talk about creative requirements, because I'm going to work with a design person and a writer. And so what do I want them to do? And then what don't I want them to do? And I always included a timeline. You include a timeline and say, we're going to advertise from this time until this time. And Martinique and I worked together for the same retailer. So there were times that it would be in the ad, in the marketing mix. There were also times that we would do, digital stuff and stuff on the website. There would be time that I would push stuff on radio, and there's different types of radio that you have also. And I'm trying to think about what else. I mean, there's a ton of things. There's in-store signage. We work for retailers, and so on. And like I said, it gets really, really deep once it starts to come to strategy, and that's when it's time to have that one-on-one consultation, because there's so many different options, and you want to make sure you use what's smart for you, so that you can work smarter and not harder and actually achieve the goals that you're looking to achieve. All right. Well, like I said, I will put the information in regards to the natural seasons, the natural buying seasons online on my website. I'll also post it in this Facebook group. And you can go and use that as a cheat sheet. I'm going to say right now, I use it as a cheat sheet myself. That's why I kind of know them off the bat. I don't care who I'm working for. If Valentine's Day comes up, I'm saying something about Valentine's Day. If MLK Day comes up, I'm saying something about MLK Day. You do have to be careful with your messaging. So, for example, not everybody wants to hear a sale on MLK Day, but it is a good day to actually still, pay homage to him. And so with that being said, while you're paying homage to him, you can also at the same time bring attention to your brand. So sometimes, especially in social media, it's about being personal, it's about being real, it's not always about being salesy. Actually, being salesy is probably the most annoying thing, and I'm gonna say possibly sometimes the most least effective. But when you know how to be a personal brand, that helps a lot on social media. So that is all. I'm going to end it there. Feel free to drop any questions that you have, after, if you're watching this on a replay or so on. I'd be glad to answer them. Also, you can email me at regina@rrpmarketing.com. If you are interested in a consulting session, I am definitely available to help with that consulting session. You can feel free to inbox me or email me at regina@rrpmarketing.com. And I really, really wish you guys much success in your business. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Let's boss up, y'all.